Imagine a world where the United States shares its longest border not with Canada, but with Russia. Not Canada-adjacent Russia, but on the North American continent. Sounds like something out of a spy novel, right? But it almost happened. In 1867, a vast, frozen wilderness changed hands. Russia sold Alaska to the United States for a measly $7.2 million, about 2 cents an acre. It seemed like Seward's folly to many Americans, but for Russia, it was a practical decision born out of fear and economics. Alaska was remote, difficult to govern, and a massive financial drain. Crucially, after being soundly defeated by Britain and France in the Crimean War, they genuinely feared that their historical rival, Great Britain, would simply take Alaska during the next conflict. They'd rather sell it to a friendly power like the US than lose it for nothing. But what if they hadn't? What if Tsar Alexander II had held firm? Most historians agree Russian Alaska would likely not have lasted long anyway. Reason one, the manifest destiny era of American expansion was in full swing. The US was hungry for land, and Alaska was right there. Reason two, the Klondike Gold Rush. In the late 1980s, just a few decades after the actual sale, hundreds of thousands of American and Canadian prospectors flooded the region. Russia, with its limited presence and infrastructure, would have struggled immensely to control this human tide. Think of it, an isolated Russian outpost trying to manage a gold rush on American soil. It would have inevitably led to an American or Canadian invasion or a forced sale under duress. It's very probable that Alaska would have become either a US territory or a part of Canada by the early 20th century regardless. But what if by some miracle Russia did manage to hold on? This is where the alternate history gets truly chilling. If Alaska had remained Russian, it would have been a Soviet Socialist Republic of Alaska throughout the 20th century. Imagine the Cold War. Instead of an ocean separating the superpowers, there would have been a land border directly with Canada and just across the Bering Strait from the US mainland. Alaska, with its strategic position and proximity to the US, would have become the ultimate Cold War flashpoint. Soviet missile bases, airfields, and naval ports would have dotted the Alaskan landscape, placing targets across the entire North American continent within easy reach. The Cuban Missile Crisis? Imagine that intensity, but permanently entrenched right on North America's doorstep. The US and Canada would have transformed their northern territories into a massive defensive zone, bristling with their own military installations. The constant state of alert, the border skirmishes, the ideological clash playing out on shared soil. It would have fundamentally reshaped global politics, and certainly the psyche of Americans and Canadians. Economically, Russia would have poured vast resources into a distant, difficult-to-maintain colony, perhaps diverting funds from other critical areas. The US would have missed out on Alaska's rich natural resources, oil, gold, fish, profoundly impacting its economic growth and geopolitical influence in the Pacific. So the next time you look at a map, spare a thought for that distant, icy territory. What seems like a simple historical transaction was in fact a pivotal moment that prevented a drastically different and far more tense North America. The sale of Alaska wasn't just about land. It was about avoiding future conflict and shaping the world we know today. What do you think would have happened? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more alternate history scenarios. Thanks for watching.